Welcome to the morning for CFFL edition week 7 on the CFFL network on YouTube. Here today we've got a really packed show. There's no investigative report today. Our investigative reporter is out in the field. I don't know what she's working on right now. We'll probably find out soon. First of all, let's go get into the week that was in the CFFL week 7 and see what happened. One of the big games this week saw the Kongs take on the Bruisers. The Kongs won 92-63. It was the upset of the week as the Bruisers were favored by 18 points. The Kongs had 33 points combined from Vincent Jackson and Eric Deckert. Harry Douglas led the Bruisers with 14 as they fall to 4-3. It's their second straight loss for the Bruisers. Team LBM fell to the Garbage Men this week, 69-60. The Garbage Men moved to 3-4. Mike Glennon, yes, Mike Glennon, had a huge week, or a pretty good week anyway, for the Garbage Men with 13 points. Calvin Johnson had 20 for Team LBM, but that's really all they had, as the Garbage Men improved to 3-4. Next up, we saw a battle that was really not good. The Cardinals won 44-42. The two lowest scoring teams this week. Luckily, I played the Gargoyles, and luckily, most of his team got hurt during the game. I got quite lucky this week. Matt Stafford, huge game again, 20 points, and really that's all I had. My defense and kicker combined for 2 points. And Ryan Matthews continued a string of a couple good games here in a row now. Second straight 100-yard game. He had 12 points. The Gargoyles will fall to 3-4, and they're beset by injuries now. So we'll see if the Gargoyles can shake that off. The Sasquatches took down the Dingoes and dropped the Dingoes to their 5th straight loss, 64-47. Sasquatches were led by Andrew Luck's 23 points as he took down Peyton Manning. A big game for Andrew Luck and the Colts, and a big game for the Sasquatches. Jacquizz Rogers had 14 points for the Black Dingoes, though. They're struggling right now, but Steven Jackson is supposed to be back soon, so that'll be big for them. Also, we saw the Donkeys take down the Horn Dogs, 66-46. Matt Forte, big week for the Donkeys, 22 points. Marshawn Lynch is the only Horn Dog who really showed up this week with 10 points. Horn Dogs middling right now at 3-4. The Donkeys are trying to look to turn their season around. Finally this week, we saw... I'm sorry, that is wrong. Those numbers are incorrect. Incorrect. Someone's going to get fired for this one. The Bone Storm beat the Badgers 69-51. Bone Storm moved to 4-3. The Badgers fall to 1-6. Badgers suffered a big injury with Doug Martin missing, going to be indefinitely now. But Russell Wilson, a big game with 17 points. A.J. Green and Peyton Manning combined for 34 points. Again, someone's going to get fired for that miscue there. Big game for the Bone Storm. They continue their role as the leading scoring team this year in the CFFL. Player of the week this week, we kind of mentioned it earlier. Big game in a lot of ways for Andrew Luck, not just in that his 23 points with a lot of passing yards and 4 different touchdowns, 1 rushing again. But, big win for the Colts. They took down Peyton Manning. Big game for the Sasquatches, too. They've found their quarterback since Jay Cutler's now out. Probably at least a month, they say. Although I heard earlier today it might be a little less. But, yeah, big for him to have that quarterback. And Luck keep on producing, especially with his rushing touchdowns. Walk of shame has to go to my guy, Trent Richardson. 37 rushing yards and a fumble this week. The last 3 games, 42 carries, 133 yards, and a grand total of 5 points. Really quite frustrating when you're getting losing carries to Donald Brown. Not looking like a good pick. Ray Rice is struggling too, who I would have probably taken or thought about. So yeah, that wasn't good at all. Next up, we'll look at Yobich, the top free agent target. Again, this is getting harder and harder each week. This week, Mike James, the running back for the Buccaneers, starter in Tampa for the foreseeable future. 14 carries, 45 yards this week. Good receiver. Should be able to do some things in the passing game there, even if he's not able to run, because their offense has been miserable this year. Next up, we have Griff's gripe this week, and he's wondering, is it too much of a good thing in the NFL? Is Roger Goodell getting a little greedy here? NFL is flirting with the idea of giving us doubleheaders on Thursday night. What happened to NFL games being played on Sundays with 1 game on Monday? Thursday night games are sloppy and suck for fantasy. Mr. Goodell, have you heard the phrase, too much of a good thing? That same phrase was pounding around in my head on Sunday after 12 Beeman Colts on Saturday night. Not to mention, Griff, another thing about that is player safety. I thought was huge, but those guys getting 3 days, 4 days rest, they're fine. They're fine. Player safety, though, that's what the NFL is all about, and that's what Mr. Goodell is all about. Don't really matter about the money that you can make extra off that. So I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. This week, there was no trades. Just a reminder, Wednesday, November 13th is the trade deadline. That's like 3 weeks away. So that'll be after week 10 or 11. I don't remember exactly. But It's November 13th. Next week, a couple big games again. Team LBM takes on the Cardinals, who are 5-2. Again, boy, someone really was sloppy editing this. I'm going to be getting in trouble for that. Glenn, no treats for you. You didn't double check your work. Team LBM 5-2 versus the 5-2 Cardinals. The Sasquatches take on the Bone Storm in two very high-scoring teams. Two teams see if they can keep their hot streaks going. And finally, this week we're going to go going deep again. We're looking at the North Division. Bernie's Bruisers, team that is tied for first place and need running backs. C.J. Spiller, Rashard Mendenhall, Lamar Miller. Okay running backs. C.J. Spiller's really struggled this year. Probably more number 2s and flexes. Could use a number 1. The problem is depth. While there is some, Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers are two good quarterbacks. It's going to be hard to pull a really good running back out of that. He's just going to need C.J. Spiller to turn it around, which is definitely possible, especially when he gets healthy. And maybe the Dolphins keep running. Next up, Holsey's fighting Sasquatches, who are also tied for first, but would have the division right now because of points. Needs, it's a little hard. He's got a really good team to find some. Flex, wide receiver 3, maybe. D'Angelo Williams, is it when Stewart comes back, is he going to see his carries cut down? Also, Tolbert ready takes away the goal lines. And wide receiver 3, while Terrence Williams has been great, Miles Austin should be back soon. Could be a little improvement there, but overall, really solid team. And depth, he's got a lot of depth at running back. All day, Adrian Peterson, Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, D'Angelo Williams, and Roy Halou. Pretty good running back stable there, and definitely able to probably move one of those for a little benefit at wide receiver 3 or whatever he deems necessary. Scott's Horn Dogs, right now a game behind the leaders, needs running back 2. Darren McFadden's a great flex just because of his health issues, but as a running back 2. Wide receiver 1, Andre Johnson, Anquan Boldin, good number 2s, but probably needing a wide receiver 1. Depth, he's got some good, lower level receivers. Mike Wallace, who's not lived up to expectations. Cecil Shorts, Kenbrell Tompkins, so pretty good receivers there. Might be able to move one, combination or something like that for another receiver. Finally, Bites his Badgers. Needs running back 2. Ben Tate's going to be good when Foster's out, but I heard it's not going to be that long. And McGahee, who knows who Cleveland's going to give it to. This week I saw Fozzie Whitaker was taking the ball. And unless this is a Muppet reunion, that's probably not a good thing to have a guy named Fozzie taking carries from you. Almost as bad as Donald Brown. And depth, he's got a lot of receivers. Deshaun Jackson, Larry Fitzgerald, Torrey Smith, Ruben Randall, Danny Amendola. A lot of depth there. Maybe you can move some of it around to get another running back, maybe a Noshan Moreno. Sorry, Bites. That one was an easy one. He just hasn't panned out so far. But Torrey Smith has had some bad weeks, but he was great before then. And Noshan's just getting touchdowns. So we'll see what happens. That's our show this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was hopefully insightful for you. Next week we're going to go, since it's the midway point of the NFL, take a look at, best picks and worst picks for each team and kind of give a preview ahead. Playoff pictures coming ahead, guys. Good luck the rest of the way, and enjoy Week 8.